I hate it when they say build systems, not goals. I honestly, I still don't know what a system is. I'm starting to learn, but I still don't know what a system is. What I have noticed is that the things I've been having troubles with have structures. And that structures means I need to think about them in more than one level, usually three levels, like the now, the then, and the after, or the earning, the saving, and the spending, or the cooking and the shopping and the prepping. It's never just one. And what set me up for failure before was that I was only thinking about one of those levels. I need to consider the three of them to work with them as in a synergy, like for them to make sense to each other, for one to prepare for the other, and so forth and so on, so that I don't have to start from zero every time, which was what happened before. And it was frustrating. So by doing this, by having this synergy, by working on the different levels of thought for each thing, for each structure of each thing, things are improving. I used to, for instance, personal finances. I used to focus on saving. Then I realized whenever I save was to be able to spend in the future, which meant then when that money was over, I would have to start from scratch. So I then started layering my spending so that it will take me longer to spend, and I would still spend because I am a spender. I'm sorry, it's just a reality. I can't fight it. It is what it is. I just have to learn to deal with it so it doesn't harm me. But instead of spending it all in one go or two goes, I now try to spend it in more times so that I still have the thrill of spending, but I don't end the money all at once, and I still have money before I save some more. So it never ends. It's always revolving. It's like I have a little bit and I spend a little bit less. I have a little bit and I spend a little bit less. So it's always there. It doesn't mean it increases, but it's always there. And then I realized that with the spending itself, I mean, how the hell can I spend? Uh, and I realized the spending itself has tiers. It has the daily spending, it has the weekly spending, it has the monthly spending, it has the quarterly spending, it has the yearly spending, it has more than 1 year spending. And in this spending, I'm not talking about going shopping. I'm talking actual everything, shopping, grocery shopping, expenses like utilities, like house expenses, everything that has to be paid is considered, and cleaning as well. Cleaning, yes, we know we have the daily things, we know we have the weekly things, we know have the monthly things, the twice a year things, and the yearly things. But regardless of that, or regardless knowing that, both in the spending, both in the cooking, both in the house cleaning, knowing it and applying it in a way that makes sense so that each part works together is different. And I wasn't doing that. I was focusing, oh, I'm going to focus on that, on this. Oh, I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to. Never in a way that would make sense. I'm not saying that I do everything at the same time. What I say is whenever I I think of at one level, I think of the implications for the other levels. And when I act at one level considering the others. give you an example. Cooking. I want to cook every 3 months, every 3 weeks. I would like to cook every 3 months, but I can't. But I would like to cook every 3 weeks because this weekly cooking stuff. So I'm supposed to make one big batch of food, and then and freeze it, and then have another session. So the first time I do this, I'll have to do twice in a short amount of time, where I just prep the food so that I have it in freezer bags or boxes in the freezer, so that when next time to cook comes around, all I have to do is dump the food in the pots. And then I'll have to repeat the process, like three weeks later. But whenever I am cooking today, for instance, let's say I'm making a soup, and the soup is going to use only half of the vegetables I have, I'm not going to waste the remaining vegetables. I'm already going to cut them, chop them, and freeze them, so that when the next session comes, which will be the prep to freeze, I already have that part of the work done, and all I have to do is decide how much vegetables go into each bag. And the same goes with the with money. Unfortunately, I can't decide how much I earn, but I can decide how much I save, and I can decide how much I save for how long, like for the weekly saving, for the monthly saving, for the 3 month saving, for 6 months saving, for 1 year saving, for 1 to 5 year savings, for over 5 year savings. I can decide that. Again, these savings are to be spent. And spending, we tend to think of spending as in things, but here is where the system gets together. So the saving and the spending are linked, because what I intend to spend in is what I'm going to save for. And the the over 5 years spending is going to be for things that are more expensive than the ones before. But not only that, it will also be for income. I will be saving for income, to have some set aside, so that I can then rely on that money and the interest it provides to be able to use it as income, as an increase of income. The the less than 1 year expenses that we have, we tend to neglect them, but that's unfortunately where we spend most of our money. So if I know I'm going to have an expense in about 3 months or 6 months, I'm going to have to spend to save more for that than I would have to something I will only need in the next 3 to 4 years, because in 3 to 4 years I'll have 36 to 48 months to save for that thing, whereas for something I need to buy in the next 3 to 6 months, I won't have much time. I made a test with myself recently. I hardly ever buy perfumes, and it's not that I don't like them. It's because they're expensive. I saved, I managed to buy one, and I decided to make a saving so that next year I can buy another perfume. And it was relatively it was it was expensive, but I'm not going to say how much it was, because what I believe to be expensive for you might be pennies, but for me it was expensive. What I realized is that if I had put the money, I had set the money aside, and it's a very small amount monthly, every year I would have been able to buy a perfume. and now, because I run the math, I know I'm going to want to buy a perfume next year. I run the math. I picked the amount of the price of the perfume. I've divided it by 12 months, which is the time I'll have to spend, and I'll have the tiniest amount monthly to set aside, so that next year, when I go shopping for perfumes, if I find one, I will be able to buy it, as long as it's the same price as this one or lower. If it's higher, it will have to come out of pocket, or I'll have to save a bit more. But the the connection, that's what I mean. The connection was missing. The connection between why to do what was missing. It was just do this, do that, do this, do that. But why was I going to do it? How does doing this relates to the outcome I have? Because let's face it, I wouldn't save one dime if I could just spend whatever I wanted, if I wanted, when I wanted it. It's not the daily actions aren't my goal. My goal is to be able to eat, have a clean, a fresh, organized house, and money to spend in whatever I want. But it's not a thing, it doesn't happen like this. I have to put in some work. So if I have to put in the work, at least let me put in the work to have the result I want, and not to just spin like a hamster. Because I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't getting the results I wanted, and I was just doing the things but not getting the results. And now I understand it has to do with the levels. Everything has a structure. It has at least 3 levels of salt or of depth, and we need to think of those 3 levels for everything, consider them for everything, and then act. Even if we act only on one level, we will already know that what we are doing is considering the others, and thus we are not in a spinning wheel anymore. We are actually moving forward. We are actually getting somewhere, and we are actually getting the things we want by doing the things we were told will get us there.